Hello and welcome to this lecture, where you are going to understand the brief intuition about Naïve Bayes algorithm. It is an algorithm based on statistics. As you already know, to build a machine learning algorithm, we need a historical data set. This is the same we were discussing in the last lecture about the bank. There are some features for each one of the customers: the credit history, the debts, properties, and income. The goal is to predict the risk to give a loan to a customer. We need this historical data set to send it to a machine learning algorithm, and some mathematical calculations are going to be made. Considering Naïve Bayes, the learning process is the creation of this table with probabilities. We can see here the credit history, debts, properties, and the income. And we are separating by the class, which is the risk. There are three values for the risk: high, moderate, and low, as we can see here in the rows. High, moderate, and low. 6 divided by 14 means that there are 6 people with high risk in the data set. We can count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 14 means the total number of rows in the data set. Considering risk moderate, there are 3 people, 1, 2, and 3. Finally, risk low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 divided by 14. Now we need to consider each one of the values of each one of the features. For example, credit history, there are 3 values: bad, unknown, and good. We are separating them here. Number 5 means that there are 5 people with credit history equals to good. For example, we can count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unknown, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bad, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to specify the corresponding values here. The same for the other features, like debts, properties, and income. If you want, you can pause the video and count the number of each one of these values, considering each one of the features. Now we need to separate the values, considering the intersection here. For example, risk high and credit history good. Only one person. So we can see here that the credit history good and the risk high is only this one I am pointing the mouse. 1 divided by 6. Regarding unknown, 2 divided by 6, because there are 2 people with unknown credit history and risk high. This one here and this one here. And finally, 3 divided by 6. There are 3 people with credit history bad and risk high. As we can see here, bad and high, bad and high here, and finally, the last one, bad and high. If we add 1, 2, and 3, the result is 6. The total amount of risk equals to high. Then we need the probabilities for risk moderate, credit history good, unknown, bad, risk low and good, low and unknown, low, and bad. And we keep the same for the other attributes. Again, if you want, you can pause the video and check all the values. This is the learning process of Naïve Bayes algorithm. You send the historical data and a probability table is built. If you want to classify a new customer that has just arrived in the bank, you need to use this table. For example, let's suppose that the new customer has these attributes: history, good; debts, high; properties, none; income, equal or greater to 35. We don't know what class the new customer belongs to, so we need to perform some calculations considering the table. We need the probabilities for the risk to be high, so we can use the value 6 divided by 14, it is the probability of being high, and multiply by 1 divided by 6, because the history is good, so we are taking this value here, and multiply by debts equals high, 4 divided by 6, as we have here, properties none, 6 divided by 6, and finally, income equal or greater to 35. 1 divided by 6. We just multiply all the probabilities. The value is 0.0079. Now we need the same for the other classes. The probability for the risk to be moderate, 3 divided by 14. History good and moderate, 1 divided by 3. Debts high, 1 divided by 3. Properties none, 2 divided by 3. And finally, income greater than 35, 1 divided by 3. We just multiply the values and this is the result. Now we need to calculate the risk to be low. 5 divided by 14 times 3 divided by 5. This value here. Debts high, 2 divided by 5. Properties none, 3 divided by 5 times 5 divided by 5. The value is 0.0514. This customer will be classified as risk equals to low since this is the higher value. This is the process of classification using this algorithm. The historical data is sent to the algorithm. A probability table will be created, and then when we need to classify a new customer, we just take the data about the customer and multiply the corresponding values. If we want the results as probabilities, we just add all of them, 0.0645, and then we just divide the results by the sum multiplied by 100. This is the probability of risk equals to high, 12%, 8% of being moderate, finally 79% of being low. This is the Naïve Bayes algorithm. That's all for this lecture. See you next time.